Hello everyone and welcome to this video. I'm sorry I haven't been putting out videos lately. It's been kind of rough lately. But I am here now, and kind of in accordance with the title of this video, I am doing this on a topic that a lot of people experience yet don't really put this name to it. It's called riding on the fence. Pretty much what this is it's when you are in a place, so say school, work, at home even, and your mind is elsewhere. You don't want to be there, or you're complaining about how much it sucks or whatever, basically just causing yourself unnecessary pain by focusing on the negatives of it and wanting to be somewhere else, yet not doing anything to fix it or to leave. That's what riding on the fence really is. Like, the image itself is kind of misleading because it makes you picture a fence with two sides. So say like a yard and a street or just whatever, unnecessary details. But here you are on top of the fence, just kind of teeter-tottering on either side, and yet not choosing one or the other. That's pretty much what happens when you're rejecting your reality. So here's why this is really, really unhealthy for us. Basically, it removes you from the present moment. It keeps you from fully experiencing and enjoying what the heck is going on while you're there. You miss out on a lot of things because you're so wrapped up in your head and in your self-caused agony of, I want to get out of here, and yet not doing anything about it. It also creates indecision, and that's kind of self-explanatory, because if you're doing one thing and yet rejecting like what it is, and yet not doing anything to fix it, you're pretty much just complaining. It's not productive. It doesn't help you at all. If anything, it's just detrimental. And it also causes trouble for people around you if you're around other people. So it's also, it creates unsatisfaction for you, because just face it, if you're complaining about what's going on, you're gonna enjoy it a whole lot less than someone that's actually enjoying themselves and like making the most of what's going on in the moment. It is also it also kind of makes you half experience things. Like, when you are in a negative mood or negative self-talk or just basically complaining about what the heck is going on, especially unnecessarily, it lowers your receptiveness by a lot. And you kind of need to be receptive in order to get quality experience out of life. So, doing this, riding on the fence, it causes you to half experience, which is basically my way of saying you miss out. So, it's cool that you know about this now. Like, some examples would simply be being at work, so say like a fast food restaurant or just wherever you're working, and not wanting to be there. Like, do you think that you have better uses for your time, or you're just not having a good day and you want to go home and sleep, or just whatever your reasons are, you're not there at work working fully. You're not being mindful. You're like off in La La Land and hating what's going on around you at the moment. Which really, it's not fun, honestly. Like, is it fun to complain? I mean, sure, it's kind of satisfying in its own right, but it's pretty destructive for yourself. Other than that, oh, goodness. So, I actually have a way to deal with this, thankfully. Basically, what you do is, the first step is to recognize that that is even going on, that you're actually riding the fence, that you're not just on one side or the other, that you are on one side, but you're like focusing on over here, and yet not doing anything about it. So first step is just recognize that and just stop for a second and be like, oh, okay, that's seriously happening. The next step is just to decide which side you're going to be on. Because you can teeter-totter on the fence all you want, but it takes a lot of energy, and you could be enjoying yourself and actually doing some good and fun stuff on one side or the other. So, let's say you're at work, and you're riding the fence. You either got to decide to stay at work and just make the most of it, do whatever you can, and basically just live in the moment to the fullest of your ability. Your other option is to pack up your stuff and leave. And if you're thinking about leaving and yet not putting any action into that, you're not doing yourself any favors. So weigh your options. Just consider what'll happen and the consequences of choosing either side, and then just choose and make a decision. Stick with it. The last thing about this is the transition. So you basically move from being on the fence to basically hopping down to whatever side you choose. So say you decide to stay at work and just do your shift and get paid, whatever. You just hop down and just ground yourself into the present moment. So basically just breathe, recognize that you're actually alive, experiencing things with your senses, and I don't know, just look around. Actually appreciate what you are experiencing, because if you're just focusing on the bad side of things, it's not a fun way to do things, honestly. So what really helps in making a decision, and also just kind of choosing which side of the fence to go on, is recognizing what is in your control and what is not. If what you're complaining about, if you can even do anything about it at all, or if it's within your power and you're just choosing not to do anything. So with work, circumstances kind of make you duty bound and give you a responsibility to go to work, or you could potentially lose your job and source of income. You could consider that out of your control, so you stay there. Same thing with school. If you just walk out of school, for one thing, you might not have the ability to ride home, and also truant officers. Those are never fun. So other than that, just recognize what's in your control and what's not, and then just decide what to do from there. And finally, the present moment, all of your power, all of your capability, everything that you want to do for yourself is in the present moment. If you're off somewhere else, at home when you're not at home, if that makes sense, you take yourself out of the present moment and basically rob yourself of your capability of being able to do anything, which is really not fun. I've had personal experience with that. I'm guessing pretty much everyone else has too. So, yeah. So to review, I talked about what riding the fence is, and basically just being in between two things and yet not really making a decision to fully commit to one side or the other. I've talked about why it's unhealthy, which it basically just fuels indecision and makes your life miserable, because in that present moment, you're missing out on the majority of stuff that's actually going on. And then finally, I've talked about what you can do about it, which is just recognizing that you are riding the fence. It's really not a bad thing. You just recognize it, and you're like, oh, okay. Decide what to do about it from there. So pick a side, and then 3, transition, which is just fully committing to whatever side you choose and just stepping into the present moment through any practice of mindfulness that works for you. And finally, I just want to leave off with I really appreciate if you're still sticking around for this channel. I'm just pretty much doing this for a hobby, but I really hope that this information helps. And yeah, I shall see you guys later. Peace out.